Hey, wobble, wobble. There's always something that goes wrong. Hey, and we've got the music.
Hey,
Hello, welcome to Lowestoft Community
Hi
Podcast.
there.
We've got all kinds of noises going on today.
It's been a wild day, isn't it?
It has been, but isn't it always? And we have a new face again on Lowestoft Community Podcast. We have Joe.
Hey.
Hi there.
Hey, Joe from the community. I met Joe, how long ago did I meet you? It was about 3-4 years ago?
It was, yes.
Well, yeah, to do with the MEC group, Most Easterly Community Group. And I think we actually partied together in the centre, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We had this party in here for the MEC group. And we said to them, we can do karaoke. We listed all these things. And they were going, no. But trying to get them to stop on the karaoke by the end of the night was just hilarious.
Yeah, that's always the way.
Loving it, wasn't there? But Joe and Adam bumped into each other a little while ago, and Joe was telling Adam all about a gardening project at the back of the Mayfly. So it's going to be a community garden project. So we thought, come on, come along and tell us all about
Sounds
it.
brilliant.
So,
Excellent. Well,
yeah, just
Well,
need
it
to
looks
talk into your
brilliant as well.
microphone.
I had the good fortune of having a tour of it. So yeah, it was very nice. Yeah.
So the background is that we have a wonderful community.
I'll lift it up, and then I'll try not to shove it in your
That's
face.
fine. We're there. We have a wonderful community cafe, 72 High Street, which is the Mayfly. And a year or so ago, I came in for my normal coffee fix, sorry. Cafe fix as well.
Yeah.
And Piers was out the back. And what he was doing was there's an area out the back which is just fly tips. It's got mattresses on and all. And he was trying to clear it up. And I thought, well, we can all moan about this type of thing. Oh, it doesn't look rubbish. Why doesn't the council do anything about it? And I thought, well, a few of us, if we get together, we got a skip and we started to clear it. And that was the starting point. It was like, well, the property owner was willing to say, well, use it if you want to. Can't give you a lease or anything like that, but you can use it. And so we thought, well, how far can we go? And I think the thing that I'm inspired by is how we've been able to reach out through the community, and this is a good opportunity to do that as well, and say to people, have you got this, have you got that?
Yeah.
And people come up and they help where they can. So a year on, we've got something that as you drive down or walk down Rant Score, people say, this makes me smile. And you think, well, that's a good start. But then the other thing that happened was that as in any garden, we started to think, right, okay, winter time, end of winter, we need to start to think about seeds and planting seeds. Nowhere in the cafe was there anywhere we could put seeds. And we thought we needed a greenhouse.
So did you get one?
Well, I started to cost it up. And I must say, going back to community and things like that, the men's shed were very helpful because I turned up there and said, how would you go about building a greenhouse? And they sort of said, well, we haven't got time for it, but you need this sort of wood. Started costing it up. And it was getting into hundreds of pounds, even for the timber.
Yeah.
And I happened to be walking down past East Point Pavilion.
Yeah.
There was this wonderful work going on with the new fountain. And next to it was all this wood that they'd obviously finished with. So I wrote a very cheeky email to the company saying,
oh, yeah.
Oh, I wonder what's going to happen with that. And normally, as you're probably aware, you never hear anything. Next morning, there was this wonderful email that said, yeah, I'd love to help. Go and speak to Wayne down there.
Yeah.
And I say, the result was we got about 50 metres of wonderful wood that would normally cost a couple of £1,000.
Yeah.
And it was like a Lego set. It was like, well, we've got all this now. What could we build? We're proud of what we've done. So as I say, if people go on to #Rant Score Garden, they'll see all the bits and bobs that we've been up to.
I didn't know you'd got as far as being posh like that.
Yes.
I'll have to have a look. Is it very big?
It's about 3.5 metres square, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So it was literally one of those things where we said, what's the longest piece of wood we've got? Well, that tells us how big it's going to be.
I mean the garden.
Oh, the garden.
I thought,
yeah. I would say, what would you say? What would you say size-wise?
Garden.
mind you, I'm asking them. I'm rubbish with
I'm not sure.
measurements.
Couple of 100 metres long.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
That's quite long, then.
It's pretty.
Because you don't think when you see these buildings on Rant Score or on the high street that they're going to have much of a garden behind them, do you?
It's very true.
I wouldn't have expected.
I suppose
it to
this
be...
one has the benefit of it being on the end next to the road that goes down, so it's an open piece of grass and ground there.
Well, interestingly, we've got an old picture of Rant Score, and in fact, they weren't gardens at all. It was a row of terraced houses in Victorian times that obviously either got bombed or became derelict. So literally we were building on top of... So soil isn't particularly good, but having said that, we used that to our advantage. We created a wonderful wildflower meadow. And I think those sorts of plants prefer rough old soil and things like that.
Yeah, so, that's the thing at the moment, isn't it? Wilding.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
we need it, don't we? Save the bees.
I've done that in my garden as well, around the AstroTurf. Got AstroTurf, but the weeds all come up around the side. Oh, Sean wants to ask a question or say something.
This planting, it helps the climate as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Sean's just saying it helps the climate, and it helps people like Sean. You like gardening, don't you, Sean?
Yeah.
So, because it's a community project. Yeah. So you're having different members of the community come and help?
Yes, I mean, we've got a lot of people involved one way or another. You know, some people... I think our message to people around the top of the high street, around the north of Lowestoft, is if you haven't got a garden yourself, and even if you had, wouldn't know where to start, haven't got the tools, etc., come along, and this is yours. So we're calling it a garden for the community as opposed to a community garden. And what we're really saying is come along and have a go. We'll try and, as I say, like me, I'm learning all the time as to what I should be doing. And as I say, people seem to be enjoying it. We get a lot of people who turn up and they'll say, here's a raspberry plant, and then they'll back away. And we say, no, hang on, come and plant it yourself, be part of it. But as I say, we're delighted to say that the 14th Scout Group, which is just up the road, they've come a couple of times. We had 25-year-olds turn up, and each one was given a plant and a hose pipe. Hose pipe was a bad idea, but never mind. But they all planted plants, and then they came back 2 months later, dug up carrots, dug up potatoes, and we gave them a little lesson on how to prepare that, and they took it back home to do roasted vegetables. So I think it's really listening to what the community wants. And what I'd say is, pop down to the Mayfly Cafe, speak to peers, tell us how you'd like to be involved.
Yeah,
I think it's really important to get kids involved in gardening these days.
Definitely.
My son-in-law grows veg in his back garden, and the eldest of my grandkids, he's 8, and he's coming up for 8. He loves helping Daddy but a lot of the kids, they don't know what a vegetable's called. They don't know. I know I've been to a supermarket before now, and you've got I was going to say aubergine. I've never bought an aubergine in my life, but you know what I mean. You buy something, and I had something. I think it was kale. I picked up some kale, and the lad in the supermarket had to ask me what it was. He didn't know, and it's because a lot of them don't eat veg and they don't eat things like that. So to get to see how they grow.
The interesting thing was, on some of them, when we were digging up the potatoes, it was almost like you could see this look on their face to say, well, why have you put them in the ground? Yeah. Aren't they supposed to be at the local supermarket?
In a bag.
Yeah, in a bag.
In the freezer. Frozen chips, yeah. Oh, there's that thing, isn't there? It was on Facebook ages ago about a kid throwing a paddy because asked mum for some chips, so she got some potatoes out, and he started, I want proper chips, real chips. It's out of a bag from the freezer. But yeah, it is important. And then there's other people like Sean and other people around that haven't got a garden themselves, and then they can go and join in. And then there's other people with quite a big garden. And do you get into your garden very often to do?
No.
That answers that.
You've got quite a big garden, haven't you?
Yeah.
For one person to manage, anyway.
I mean, Kit's quite busy, though. I don't imagine
that's
you
what I
find
mean,
time to do gardening.
Not even sure the landlord would permit me. Seriously.
Seeing your gardening skills.
I think another thing that's quite interesting about this community garden for the community is that we've had people, as we were starting to work on it, say, oh, you need to put up a fence, people will come in and they'll steal things or, they'll vandalise it. And we're basically trying to say, no, well, why would we want that? If you want to come on, then please do. We've actually got a sign that says, keep on the grass.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, there's some projects in America, isn't it? I saw this last year. And you get like a wide pavement and you've got the bit you walk on, the sidewalk in America, and then you've got a bit of grass before the road. They're actually planting veg and stuff on those and saying to the community, you can come and help yourself.
Oh, yes. That's great.
In a lot of places in America, I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So
because they can go and help them, what made me think of it is when it first happened, they were worried about the same thing. Would people just come and vandalise it and taking it? But they're saying it is there for you to have. So then people started bringing seeds and cuttings and that to plant, to take, replenish what's been taken. I thought, what an excellent idea. Yes, Sean?
It's also stress relief.
It can be, can't
definitely.
it?
Sean said a stress relief.
Yeah.
say if you're really depressed, you meet the public.
Good for people's mental health, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
To do with mental health.
I find it stresses me out, but I appreciate the fact it helps with. I went out in my garden last week, and I have genuinely got AstroTurf because we're not hardly ever home, so But the weeds do come around the outside, and we had all this. You keep talking about it, and I feel that ragwort, is it?
Ragwort.
Is that with the big white bellflowers on it?
I think so. I'm going to say I think so.
Okay. Well,
tall yellow daisies.
We had this ivy-looking stuff with big white bellflowers coming out, and at the end of my garden was a potted fir tree that had died a couple of years ago when we had really bad frost, and I kept it alive for ages. I'm known as the Grim Reaper in my family of plants. I'm rubbish. My dad gave me a fuchsia once. He went, "You never kill that." It took me 3 years, but it died. And I did look after it. I really, honestly tried to look after it, but that died in the same frost. But anyway, it died, and the fern. And I went down to the bottom of the garden, and there's all this ivy stuff with the big white bells on it. So my gardening creativity was to pick up all this ivy stuff and drape it over the top of this dead tree. It looked ever so nice. It really did look nice. That's my garden expertise.
Well, we're lucky that we have a celebrity gardener who is very supportive, and that's a chap you might have heard of, BBC Radio, Gardener's Question Time, Bob Flowerdew. Right. So he's very much into organics and things
name,
like that.
Isn't it, for a gardener?
It is. It is.
I haven't, but I have heard of that programme on there
BBC,
because I've heard people talk about it.
Well, he came to Lowestoft,
gave
a talk, raised half the money that we needed for the greenhouse pagoda, and as I say, has been really supportive.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
You were saying about growing organic. Do you have to specifically buy organic seeds for that?
Well, once again, we were lucky enough that early on in the project, we got a company that does organic mulch, and they gave us £2,000 worth of organic mulch to put in the raised beds. At the moment, we're relying on people coming along and they're saying, here's a raspberry plant, here's a potatoes, etc. So we're certainly not using chemicals or anything like that. Yeah. We're letting it grow organically, I suppose, in many ways. But as I say, at the moment, it's something that I'd like to learn more about. So, I mean, a bit of a shout out. If there's somebody out there, perhaps, who knows a lot more about gardening, maybe they're getting to the age where they're finding it hard to actually dig, for instance. But they'd like to point at people like me, say things like, right, you need to cut it there, you need to do that. We could do with that sort of thing. And I think sometimes with any project, it's sometimes hard to get volunteers to come along because they think, I'm going to be asked to do far too much. Yeah. What we're trying to say is pop down any time, have a coffee, and as I say, if you can help just a little bit, maybe take over part of a raised bed, there'll be lots of us to help you. I mean, I'm just looking for a bit of guidance myself. And I think, going back to what Jax was saying, that we can all think, it's going to be far too hard. But what I've found in the small experience that I've had is if you just focus on one particular thing, right, okay, for instance, I've got a herb bed. And what I like about it is at least I know, if I'm cooking, that if I go down to the Rant Score garden, there will be herbs there. Yeah. They're all there. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But just keeping an eye on something like that probably takes couple of hours a week, something like that. So
have you had yet somebody come and say, I've got these, say, sweet peas for you to grow, and when they've started growing you've thought, they're not sweet peas?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Invariably, peers will say something like, well, this was left on the doorstep. What is it? We don't know. Well, we'll just plant it and find out. So we could be more organised, but then hopefully we come across as friendly and approachable because of that. It's nice
when it doesn't go according to plan. It's real then, isn't it? It makes it more of a community.
That's kind of a way of life for us, isn't it?
Do you do clever little things like when you get like an old corn cob and you soak it in water and it starts to re-sprout, or you cut the ends of a celery, you put that in water and that starts to regrow?
We'd love to do more of that. And as I say, with our link to the 14th Scout Group, we've said to them, do you want to take over half of one of the raised beds? That's nice. And be proactive rather than just reacting to us. As I say, we've invited them down a couple of times. They seem to really enjoy it. But basically say, come along, tell us what tools you want. If you're looking for a bit of guidance, once again, shout out to any gardeners who'd like to be a bit involved. That would be great, so that we don't have to make it up as we go along. But it's the sort of tips and tricks that we'd like to do. One of the things that I'm trying to do at the moment is label everything. So particularly on the herbs, for instance,
Yeah.
it sort of says, sage, good for such and good for casseroles or something like that. And I'm doing it mostly for me, but I think other people, they wander around gardens and they think, I've no idea what that is. We've actually, on the side of the raised beds, we've written peas, aubergines in big white letters. So there's a bit of an obligation as to make sure that that's what is there.
Yeah.
But we're making it up as we go along, but it's great fun.
But we like winging it. That's how we manage, don't we?
And also, what about there's a new sort of practice coming in where you don't dig at all. You just clear all the crap off you clear all the rubbish off the land of the area that you're going to use, and then you just topsoil it and just go on top. You don't actually dig anything, so it cuts out a huge amount of the work. You do that.
That's absolutely what we do, and it seems to work well. As I say, because I think that if you disturb the soil too much, all you're doing is bringing up seeds and weeds and things like that you don't particularly want. But yes, we're very much into that sort of gardening.
Sense. That's good.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's a recent thing that someone told me about, and having studied some videos about that, it just looks like it's like, wow, how come no one always doing this? Just putting it on top.
I mean, one of the things that we are doing is probably 2 or 3 times a week we're actually posting small 30-second tips, which Bob Flowerdew is doing. Probably go to bobflowerdew.com, it'll be there. And basically this is what you do for strawberries. And as I say, I'm helping him because I do the actual recording of it. And I invariably are going, that's really good, I must remember that one.
Yeah.
That's really good.
There's another thing as well, which because I'm trying to get, I can probably actually just come and help because that'll get me into practice because I want to start doing this, like probably not at home, but in another bit of land somewhere else. But have you heard of like electroculture farming?
No, tell me, do.
So if you basically get a copper rod, I think it does have to have some sort of spiral, probably, I don't know, Fibonacci-esque sort of pattern on the side of it. But basically, because copper just inducts electromagnetic current, you stick it in the ground along with the plants, and that extra current just, I don't know, it feeds extra electrical energy into plants. They grow a lot quicker and a lot bigger. And all it is sticking a copper thing into the ground next to it.
It's interesting you say that because we've got some rhubarb we're growing, and the guy who does that, he's got one of those copper things.
Right.
I thought it was to do with keeping slugs and things off, but it could also have that as a benefit as well. But,
the Telegram group that I'm in is electroculture farming, and there's lots of little stuff like that. And I'm hopefully going to try and get some copper rods and do that myself.
Good thought.
I don't know if
I've got a mutant rose bush in my garden. It belonged to my daughter. Still belongs to her, but when she moved house, it's in a big pot, and it stayed more or less the same size for however long, 5-6 years. And I've looked out of it, and one part of it is shot right up, about 2 foot bigger than the rest of it. But it's not just how much it's gone up, the girth of it. And I just feel loath to chop it off, even though you're supposed to prune them, aren't they? I wouldn't know what I was doing. And if I tried, I'd probably kill it. But that's the only thing I've successfully grown in the garden without even trying. It's not mine. So
that's probably why.
I don't know, and I don't know what to do with it. I keep looking at it now.
Doesn't belong to you, therefore it grew.
Exactly, and I don't know what to do with it. Honestly, it's sort of seems about that big, the trunk of the bit that's shot up, and I don't really know what to do about it.
Lowestoft has got a very enthusiastic allotment group.
Yes.
And I would encourage you to contact them. They're full of helpful advice. I quite often say, what should I be doing with such and such? Should this be cut here?
Well, we've got Carol who used to volunteer here. She's had an allotment for years. Maybe I should get in touch with her. Carol, if you're watching.
Ian does allotment stuff as well. He'd probably
do it.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes. Yeah, I was thinking of other Ian, but that Ian.
So one of the other things that we decided that we wanted to do when we thought, all right, we need a greenhouse.
Yeah.
And as I say, started with the wood, so it was a bit like having a Lego set. But then I thought to myself, well, it would be really interesting if it can be a building that can change. So therefore, obviously, during the winter and early spring when there's frost, we need it all sealed up. We need those plants growing nicely inside. But then can we have it where after the frosts are finished, all the walls can come out and it can be an open area that people can use?
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, maybe you could put half the walls back and it could be coffee table height.
Yeah.
So we came up this way of it being able to chop and change and be all sorts of different things. And in fact, week on Sunday at 3:30 down at Rant Score, we've got a jazz afternoon.
Okay.
and we're converting it into a bar area, and as an area that people
in that garden.
in the garden.
Oh, wow.
In the garden.
Well, with the
Wow.
pagoda
Nice.
thing that you've built, you showed me that on the day you can move things in and out of it, can't you? You've got sliding bits, so you can open it up for the summer and then close it up for the winter.
I think I took my inspiration from Tracy Island Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on Blue Peter, and I thought I could build something like that.
It's cool, I like it.
Within 10 minutes, it can either be completely sealed in or part sealed in, and we're hoping that what it'll do is enable people to say, oh, we can have that for meditation, we can have it for, as I say, a group. I think we've had groups there who have used it for band practice and that sort of thing. But it's quite fun to think about how good something can be, and I think that what it shows as a community, that when we all come together and really try things, you can achieve a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I've noticed with us doing these podcasts, and one of the reasons we started doing this was because we got fed up with hearing people say nothing goes on in Lowestoft. Well, we've found so much, haven't we? We've been doing this for a year and a half now. And things that I just had that garden, I didn't know until I met you the last time, and you said you're going to be doing something like that. The things that go on, and I went to something going on the Sparrow's Nest once, and I saw this couple that had an old-fashioned printing press, and you could go and do it yourself. And they're up North End somewhere, and we started doing what's on and that to let people know what's going on in Lowestoft, because there's a lot.
Definitely. I mean, there's a wonderful magazine. I'm sure you're all aware, Lowdown.
Yeah, I use that every week to find stuff.
I think that's a great place to start to what's going on, and it is surprising. And I think, as you say, it is a matter of, I think that at the moment there are, as with any town, there's ups and downs. Yeah. And I think so often you can either say, oh, that window's broken, or that's boarded up, or you can say, look at that vibrant bookshop there. Look at that vibrant cafe there, as I say. Mayfly is a good example.
Definitely.
Oh, it's always. I haven't been in the Mayfly very often because he closes at about 3, doesn't he, during the day, unless there's something going on at night. Well, I'm here till 4, 5 o'clock, so I don't get to go up there. But I know Piers from when he was at the Grit, and such a lovely chap. Definitely,
yeah,
one
inspiring.
of the world's really, really nice guys.
People that work the cafes, Levi and Lynn, isn't it? Yeah, they're lovely people as well. Yeah.
So it's not you find all these places and you find out what's going on there.
Definitely.
And the things that when we had the 2 ladies, Rebecca and Jo from Alton Community Parish Council.
Yep.
And such lovely ladies, and I couldn't believe it when they said that the field in Alton hadn't been used for 40 years for a fete. So they're trying to revive it, and they're finding that the local community are getting on board as well. So the communities we've found over the years, you sort of try. People say there's no community and that you can't get things going, but if you get the right people.
The thing to say is you are the community.
Exactly.
You are the community. Yeah. You're part of it. You know?
Get the right people to keep incentivising people.
Yeah.
Then you get more people involved, and it does start to work in the end. And taking people's ideas and running with it and showing that, like, your little idea that you came to with, you might not go with the idea the way it was pitched to you, but you can take something and make it grow to make it work for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we're all for people coming in here saying, why do you do it like that? Why don't you try it like that? And sometimes we might say, well, we can't do it like that because, and there's always a reason. But then there's other times we think,
actually, yes,
why didn't we think of that ourselves?
Yeah.
But things evolve, don't they?
They definitely do.
Things evolved, and sometimes when they evolve slowly, you don't always evolve in the best way. Whereas if you'd gone straight into that bit, you might have gone about it a different way.
Well, this has been year 1 for us, and I think what we're going to do now, as I say, is encourage people to come along, learn a bit more about it. As I say, there's some great stuff going on at the Mayfly, but next year we can start to think, well, what do we want to grow on there? And I think we've got to get the right balance between the number of people involved, because we don't want anyone getting burnt out. We want people to come along and enjoy it, but actually get to a stage where exactly
we do.
But we want people to come along and plant a few potatoes, and then I can dig them up and give them to the scouts or whatever. So I'm sure. As I say, people like to contribute. And
they
as
do.
I say, I'd encourage them to get involved.
And is it all crops, or are you putting stuff down that can help, like, encourage pollinators?
Oh, definitely a mixture. I suppose you could say that the wildflower meadow has just burst with flowers that are ideal for pollinators and things like that. At the moment, as I say, we've got quite a few seeds, and if people want any seeds, then pop in. We've got plenty spare, for instance. But I think we're trying to grow crops so that people can actually come in, as say, strawberries, herbs, potatoes. I quite like the idea of doing something a bit different. I mean, sadly, with climate change, who knows what we could now grow. So, as I say, come along and get involved.
Yeah, sounds good. When I spoke to you last time, you were telling me about a project to do with the houses and putting plaques on the walls of noted people. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, we've got a couple of projects we've sort of finished, but the exciting aspect of it is that they've become templates that we might be able to offer to other people.
Yeah.
So the idea was we took pictures of every single house building in the high street, historic high street, and then actually found the oldest or most interesting picture of each building, and then put them side by side, and then created a website at lowestoftoldennow.org that allows you to walk up and down virtually, and you can click on any particular building. If it's a business, it'll tell you about the business. There's a tab that says about history, and also one that talks about the people who lived there.
That's what stuck in
that's
my
cool.
mind, you
Exactly,
talking about that, because I thought that was... We did a podcast a year or so ago, but I couldn't get anyone to edit it. It was a long podcast. And
it's in the archives.
it was in the archives,
It will
well, it's because we haven't got the
crop up
memory
at some
stick.
point.
We've got the video, we just haven't got the...
Audio?
That's the one. The audio one. But I just thought that was such a brilliant idea. I loved the idea that you were telling the history of the people that lived in those houses.
Yes.
Because I've got a big thing about people being forgotten.
Well, I mean, that
gone.
links to the other project we did, which is called Our Fallen, Lowestoft's Our Fallen. And what we did was we actually researched the 2,060 people, residents, who died in the First and Second World War, civilians and Army, Navy, Air Force, and found out where they lived in Lowestoft. Because you got a sense, when you think about it, that person 80, 100 years ago left that house, 50 High Street or whatever it might, never came back and was lost to the community.
It's eerie to think about, isn't it?
Exactly. So we combined the two projects and made it so that we found out more about them.
Yeah.
And going back to what we've talked about here about community, once we'd started to do it, we then, every time we got a picture, we would publish it, we would link to the extra story we had so far, and people would say, oh, that's my great uncle so-and-so or whatever, and would tell that story. And the challenge you sometimes have is we'd got the information, historical information that we were able to research, and then we had people who said, that was my great uncle, he was captain of the skipper team and could juggle, and you think, we want that story. That's fascinating. That brings. We don't know. We can't prove it.
That's more the human side, isn't it?
So we separated it. One set of text is black, the other is brown, but it really brings it to life. And as I say, it's about celebrating their life as opposed to just recording their death. And what we've done with both of those projects is we've turned them into templates. So any other community can actually take that and do their streets and things like that. So we're currently working in. Pakefield's one particular place that we're looking at, but anywhere in the country we could do something like that. So we're seeing where it goes.
Yeah, there's some very interesting stories out there, isn't there, from history and just local people to any community that have done something really good.
Yeah, there really is. Yeah.
Well, it's great to know that this gardening project's going well.
How many people you got involved in it?
It's about 20 or 30 altogether, one way or another. People come in, they go out again. Some want to do the gardening side of it. We've had people on the roof of the greenhouse sort of painting the roof and things like that. So it's great,
And you don't need any more people then?
Yes, we do. Always need people. Come along. Everyone has something to contribute. And the point is because it talks to the larger Mayfly project.
Also, from the idea of it, it does sound like, sorry to cut in, people coming in and out, like you were saying. So you'll have a constant a flux of people. You'll have people that will come, do a little bit, maybe go again, and then someone else will arrive and bring something else.
I'll be the one in the hammock, but you can do whatever you want.
But I was just thinking about coming along and being somebody who, not critiques, but I'll go and get my glass of wine first, then I'll come out, sit in a nice easy chair. Do you want to come with me? Should we go?
Critique the courgettes.
Yeah. Should we go and get a glass of wine and?
Oh yeah.
And we can be critiquing.
I'll drink the wine. You can eat the vegetables.
We've got a nice decking area, so you can just observe and encourage.
There you go.
We get a
That's me.
I'll get drunk. You prune the girth.
I'll have the wine. I'll join you with wine. On the decking. I won't touch the plants, don't
I'm not
worry.
going to say what just came into my head.
You see, I'm moving on.
This happens a lot.
I'm just.
Good painter.
Oh yeah, we've got a painter and decorator over there.
Yeah.
But
Sure, you should
those
go
that
down and
know me
get
when it
involved.
comes to
Yeah.
gardening and stuff, I won't go along and touch anything because they'll die.
But
I
you've got
won't
to get
go-
your hands into the microbiomes of the dirt. That's when Sean mentioned about it being good for your mental health. It's because
Yes.
of the tiny life forms and the electromagnetic stuff that's going on in the soil. That's why a lot of people who do gardening, they live longer because of that. So it's all about science.
And I
We
must
should all
admit,
do it.
when we first put the seeds in for the wildflower meadow,
Yes.
I became quite obsessed because it was like, well, I've planted them 6 hours ago. Let's go and see if there's anything's coming along, and just having the patience because
6
maybe that's
hours?
it. Well, yeah, I watered it well. But the point was that then you start to see little shoots and you think, oh, is that the start of it or whatever? But it's been one of our biggest successes, to be honest.
Oh, good.
It was, we were well advised by the seed company that was kind enough to give us the seeds. And, there was like a flow of all these wonderful colours and
Yeah.
then the next batch. And as I say, I think we're about to cut it down and then next spring, hopefully it'll self-seed. So
Brilliant.
I can just take the praise with none of the
Yeah.
work.
Have you got any photos on Facebook or anything at the moment?
Yeah, Facebook, if you go to #Rant Score Garden,
Okay.
that will find it.
Because
Yeah.
when Kit edits
Hashtag.
this, he can put
Yeah.
some photos.
It's
up of
mostly
when-
me, but there's the odd picture of the garden as well.
Oh, I'm sure people don't mind, do they? See the lovely Joe.
I have a link from you in the Facebook thing. I'll send it through to Kit because
Okay.
it's got the whole pagoda stuff and that on it. So yeah,
Oh,
I'll
that'd
send
be
that
nice.
through.
How lovely. But is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I think I've done too much of the talking.
No,
As I say,
that's why we
it's
have
just
you
to-
here.
Just to say to people, as I say, that if you're... Because I think quite often people think that, the high street ends where the precinct is.
Yes.
And although there's some great stuff there, I'd encourage everyone to just go a bit further, go to past the triangle. There's some wonderful...
There's a lot of shops up there.
eclectic shops
Yeah.
and things like that. And I say, part way up on the right-hand side, you'll find the Mayfly. Pop in and say Joe sent you.
There you
I would
go.
think.
The high street for me normally ends when I stagger out of the Falcon and fall down the stairs by the
yes,
side
yes.
of Sparrow's Nest, but it's just me.
Oh, I've done that.
Oh yeah. You push me. Grounding, by the way, grounding is another
Grounding.
word
Oh,
for
that's
it.
for-
Getting your hands in.
Yeah, and
I was gonna say
walking.
If you're not walking bare feet on the
grounding.
ground, getting your hands in it
I like how
does the
you
same,
linked
does the same
grounding
thing.
to falling down the stairs. Yeah, that's grounding. You just tumble down the stairs
Yeah.
at the thing.
Well, it just reminded me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, lovely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Yeah,
It's been a
thanks very
pleasure
much
as
for joining
always.
us. That's inspiring. Thank you.
And if anybody has made it to the end here, there is no podcast next week, and there's no What's On either because I'm on holiday.
Hey.
So we use all my equipment to film and edit and stuff. So I'm going to ground for a week, and so if you want to know what's on in the pubs and clubs, you'll have to look it up
Just
yourself.
pop in and go, oi, Kit, Adam,
Yeah.
what's on? And we'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
what's tell you?
You can look on previous lists to see what places have got things on and just then Facebook those and see if they've got something on that particular week. Do
Yeah.
some work yourself for a change. But the What's On weekly with the arts and crafts and all that kind of thing, it doesn't really change a lot. So no update on Low Stuff Community Podcast, but we'll be back the following week. So thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah.
I will.
Right.
Try.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
Thanks,
a lot,
Joe. Thanks
Joe.
for joining us. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
all in a fortnight. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.